You,
tú,
you,
y tú,
me,
yo,
and Sylvia too.
y Silvia también.
We are a simple church,
Somos una iglesia sencilla,
a safe church,
una iglesia salva
and a sincere church.
y una iglesia sincera.
Today I want to talk to you about being sincere.
Hoy te quiero hablar sobre ser sincero.
I have a friend who signs his letters and his emails
Yo tengo un amigo que firma sus cartas y su correo electrónico
in his grip.
en su puño.
Without a doubt, my friend
Sin duda alguna, mi amigo
believes God is never going to leave him and never going to forsake him.
cree que Dios nunca lo va a dejar, nunca lo va a abandonar.
He believes nothing can take him out of God's hand.
Él cree que nada lo va a quitar de la mano de Dios.
He's in his grip.
Está en su puño.
Those of you that know sports,
Aquellos que conocen algo de deportes,
you know how important a grip is.
tú sabes qué tan importante es estar en un puño.
Well, in Christianity, it's even more important.
En cristiandad es mucho más importante.
I don't know if you've seen the little book, Tyranny of the Urgent,
Yo no sé si has leído un libro que se llama Tiranía de la Urgencia,
but it can put a tight grip on you.
pero puede tener un puño bien amarrado a ti.
The tyranny of the urgent
La tiranía de la urgencia
wants to occupy all your time.
quiere ocupar todo tu tiempo.
It's a warning to us.
Es un aviso para nosotros.
Here's what it says in one sentence.
Esto es lo que quiere decir en una sola palabra.
Don't let the urgent
No dejes que la urgencia
take the place of the important
tome el lugar de la importancia
in your life.
en tu vida.
The urgent screams for attention.
La importancia grita por atención,
It pleads for your time.
suplica por tu tiempo,
But while you're putting out all the fires that are urgent,
pero mientras tú estás tratando de apagar todos los fuegos que son urgentes,
the important is in a holding pattern.
lo importante está esperando en línea.
The important usually is not noisy or demanding.
Lo importante no es ruidoso ni te demanda.
Unlike the urgent,
Como la urgencia,
it patiently and quietly waits
paciente y calladito espera
for you
por ti,
to realize
para que tú realices
the significance
la significancia
of the important.
de la importancia.
So you have to ask yourself,
Tienes que preguntarte a ti mismo,
what is important?
¿qué es importante?
What is important to me?
¿Qué es importante para mí?
What is important to you?
¿Cuál es importante para ti?
Now I mean really important.
De verdad.
Top priority in your life.
Lo más principal en tu vida.
I've been giving a lot of thought to this recently.
Yo me puse a pensar muy bien en esto recientemente.
My schedule is 7 days a week.
Mi tiempo de trabajo son 7 días de la semana.
Out the door between 5:30 and 6 every morning.
Salgo de mi casa entre las 5:30 y 6 de la mañana.
Back in between 7 and 9 every night.
Regreso a la casa entre 7 y 9 de la noche.
Now keep in mind I'm 66 years old.
Mantén en cuenta que tengo 66 años.
In my teenage years, that was nothing.
Cuando yo era un jovencito eso no era nada.
But today I pastor a church that's 26 years old.
Pero hoy soy pastor de una iglesia que tiene 26 años de vieja.
And I play a part in 14 other churches of various ages.
Y participo en otras 14 que son de diferentes edades.
You add a men's home,
Adhieres un men's home,
a learning center,
un lugar de aprendizaje,
2 thrift stores,
2 segundas,
and there's plenty of urgent things.
y hay muchas urgencias en esos negocios.
But there's also some very important people
Pero hay mucha gente importante
that we work with
que trabajamos con ellos
and that we get to minister to.
y podemos ministrarlos también.
Now, as you determine what's important to you,
Mientras tú determinas qué es importante para ti,
here's my thoughts.
aquí está mi pensamiento.
Here's my thoughts on people
Aquí están mis pensamientos en la gente
and on organizations.
y en organizaciones.
They're a lot alike.
Se parecen mucho.
Both tend to lose their vitality
Los dos tratan de perder su vitalidad
rather than gain it as time passes.
en lugar de agarrarla mientras el tiempo pasa.
Both tend to give greater attention
Los dos tratan de darle mucho más atención
to what they were
a lo que valen
rather than what they're becoming.
en lugar de pensar en lo que van a venir a hacer.
Now, God's people
La gente de Dios
were never meant to be museum pieces,
nunca fueron creados para ser parte de un museo,
to sit in one spot
sentarse en un lugar,
on a shelf collecting dust.
en un gabinete colectando tierra.
We're to be alive
Tenemos que estar vivos
and active
y y activos
and moving,
y moviéndonos,
making an impact on our world that we live in.
haciendo un impacto grande en el mundo que nos vivimos.
But to do that,
Para llegar a hacer eso,
we have to look at what's important to us.
tenemos que buscar lo que es importante para nosotros.
Paul said in 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1,
Pablo dice en Primera de Tesalonicenses capítulo 1,
for you,
para ti,
yourselves,
tú, a ti mismo,
you know, brethren,
tú sabes, mi hermano,
that our coming to you
que van a venir a ti,
was not in vain.
no ha venido en vano.
Now, Paul didn't stay with them long,
Pablo no se quedó mucho tiempo con ellos,
but it wasn't a wasted effort for him.
pero tampoco fue una pérdida de tiempo.
He said sometimes it was discouraging,
Dice, a veces era un poco desanimoso,
but it wasn't in vain
pero no era en vano.
because of you,
Por ti,
because of yourself.
por ti mismo.
Now, after declaring that,
Después de declarar eso,
he pinpoints 4 important priorities
apunta 4 cosas bien importantes
for every person
para cada persona
and every church.
y para cada iglesia.
First, he says,
Primero dice,
be biblical.
sé bíblico.
Listen to what he says in verses 2 through 4.
Vamos a leer lo que dice en el 2 al 4.
On the contrary, after we had previously suffered, and we were treated outrageously in Philippi, as you know, we were embodied by our God to speak the gospel of God to you in spite of great opposition. For our exhortation didn't come from error or impurity or an intent to deceive. Instead, just as we have been approved by God to be entrusted with the gospel, so we speak, not to please men, but rather God who examines our hearts.
Siempre dando gracias a Dios por todos ustedes cuando los mencionamos en nuestras oraciones y los recordamos constantemente delante de nuestro Dios y Padre a causa de la obra realizada por su fe, el trabajo motivado por su amor y la consistencia sostenida por su motivación, por su amor y la... Hermanos amados de Dios, sabemos que Él los ha escogido.
So I'm sure with all of those people,
Estoy seguro que con cada una de estas gentes
there were all kinds of urgent needs.
había tantas urgencias.
I'm hungry.
Tengo hambre,
I need this.
necesito esto,
I need that.
necesito lo otro.
Take me here.
Llévame aquí,
Do this for me.
haz esto para mí.
But Paul considered
Pablo consideró
the Word of God something entrusted to him.
la palabra de Dios le dio confianza
And so he made sure he shared it
y se aseguró de que la compartiera
without compromise.
sin comprometerse.
He wasn't going to fall into the trap of becoming a people pleaser.
No iba a caer en la trampa de ser complaciente a la gente.
He knew if he was biblical,
Él sabía que si era bíblico,
it would work on him
iba a trabajar para él,
by way of self-examination
examinándose a sí mismo,
if he would take this seriously.
si él tomaba esto seriamente.
And he did
Y lo hizo
because it was important to him.
porque era importante para él.
Now you have to decide if this is important to you.
Tú tienes que decidir si esto es importante para ti.
Number 2,
Número 2,
be authentic.
la autenticidad.
Listen to what it says in verses 5 and 6.
Mire lo que dice el 5 y el 6.
For we never use flattering speech, as you know, or had greedy motives. God is our witness, and we didn't seek glory from people, either from you or from others.
Porque nuestro evangelio les llegó no solo con palabras, sino también con poder, es decir, con el Espíritu Santo y con profunda convicción, como bien sabéis ustedes. Estuvimos entre ustedes buscando su bien.
Paul was the real deal.
Pablo era algo real.
When you look at people,
Cuando tú miras a la gente,
do you think they're real or fakes?
tú piensas si son reales o falsos.
We all need to work on being authentic.
Todos tenemos que trabajar en ser auténticos.
No masks,
No máscaras,
no cover-ups,
no se cubran,
no abuse of our position.
no abusar nuestra posición,
Don't take unfair advantage.
no tomen ventaja injusta.
And if you can get there,
Se puede llegar ahí,
you'll enjoy life more than most people.
vas a disfrutar la vida mucho más que otra gente.
Real people,
Gente verdadera,
authentic people,
gente auténtica,
enjoy life more than most people
disfrutan la vida más que a otra gente.
because they don't take themselves seriously.
Porque no se toman a sí mismos seriamente,
They take the Word of God seriously.
toman la palabra de Dios seriamente.
And when you take the Word of God seriously,
Y cuando tú tomas la palabra de Dios seriamente,
you don't have to protect your image.
no tienes que proteger tu imagen,
You don't have a role to play.
tú no tienes que demostrar algo.
So it's very important
Es muy importante
that you become authentic.
que tú seas auténtico.
What people see
Lo que la gente mire
is what people get,
es lo que va a recibir.
because people are most important.
Porque la gente es lo más importante.
Number 3,
Número 3,
be gracious.
sé gracioso.
Listen to what it says in verses 7 through 11.
Vamos a leer lo que dice 7 al 11.
Although we could have been a burden as Christ's apostles, instead we were gentle among you, as a nursing mother nurtures her children. We cared so much for you that we are pleased to share with you not only the gospel of God, but also our lives, because you become dear to us. For you remember our labor and our hardship, brothers, working night and day so that we would not burden you. We preach God's gospel to you. You are witnesses, and so is God, of how devoutly and righteously and blamelessly we conducted ourselves with you believers. As you know, like a father with his own children, we encouraged, comforted, and implored each one of you to walk worthy of God, who calls you into his own kingdom in his glory.
Aunque